Nico and I'm 4.
And this is Eleni and she's 2. And I'm Andrea.
And I'm Derek.
And we're Fouts family!
We're the Fouts family. My name is Andrea Fouts, and I'm Greek Orthodox. And so that really means two things. It really means that the Orthodox is our religion and Greek is our culture.
My name is Derek Fouts. I'm actually not Greek. I got introduced to the culture and the religion and everything when I met my wife 10 years ago. And it's been very exciting. Totally different from what I'm used to, what I've been exposed to my whole life.
Growing up was a lot of church. We learned really quickly how to act in church, how to behave in church. It's a very formal setting, so formal attire, traditional hymns and chanting. And one thing that's really nice about our religion is that everyone we go to church with, they become our church family. So we consider our friends from church just as close as we would with our cousins and aunts and uncles. So my children call our friends from church the Greek word for aunt and uncle. So Thea and Theo is what they call our older friends from church.
Everything's big with the family, big with the church. I didn't grow up going to church or anything like that. My family was a little bit smaller, so just being introduced to her family, it's just this huge, huge family. Everything's family oriented, and it's great.
So I'm Eve Tibbs.
Steve Tibbs.
We have several grandchildren. We have 5 grandchildren. We also have many godchildren. And in the Orthodox Christian tradition, your godchildren are as closely related to you as your biological children. It's a great honor to be asked to be a godparent, and we both have taken on that responsibility with a great deal of humility and gratitude.
So my family is very involved in our church. My husband and I teach Sunday school. I'm the youth choir director.
Well, our roles at church are diverse, but many.
So I've had the opportunity to be on the parish council for approximately 20 years.
So we're the church school directors, and I'm currently the choir director, and I lead a Bible study, and I'm also the webmaster. So yeah, it really is a home for us in many ways.
So we are actively volunteering every time we attend church, and I think that's a great example for my children to know that they don't just show up to church, they need to be participating and serving every time we go. We do make the bread, the prosphero, for the communion. My husband is in charge of that with our son.
One of the most important parts of our worship is that families participate in our worship. Hi, I'm Father Steve, and I'm the pastor here at St. Paul's Greek Orthodox Church in Irvine. One of the ways they participate, although not the only way, but one of the ways that's really important is that they bake the bread that we use in order to give communion during the service.
The communion bread at church, it's a very traditional basic bread, just basic ingredients. And I prepare that here at home, and then at church during the service our priest prepares the bread and then cuts it up, and then that's what we use for our communion bread. My son helps me make the communion bread. He just throws flour everywhere and just gets in there and just has a ball with it. And he's starting to understand when we go to church and he actually has the communion bread, he's starting to understand that, hey, this is what we made, this is why we made it, and this is what it means.
Christmas traditions, they're similar to what any average American family would celebrate, and that's partly because the Greek Orthodox tradition is the oldest Christian tradition. So all of the Christian celebrations that most people in America celebrate, the gifts, the Christmas tree, the stockings, those all really do come all the way back to our ancient Greek Orthodox tradition.
Now, we probably celebrate Christmas a little bit differently than a lot of people do. So for example, before Christmas, we actually fast, so that when the rest of the world is saying, buy this and buy that, we're actually saying, no, calm down, focus on Jesus, fast. You don't really need all that stuff anyway. There are other things that you need to do that are more important than that. So our celebration of Christmas in some ways is kind of countercultural.
Our ornaments tend to be a little more religious than, say, snowmen. We have icons that represent the various saints in our tradition. Icons are very important. They replicate either an event that happened in the Bible, for instance, the Nativity of Christ or the baptism of Christ. And we also have icons that represent each of the saints in our tradition, or all of the people that we think did a really great job of being Christian while they were alive. Unlike most American households, where Christmas is the main event, for Greeks, Easter is the main event. Christmas is also a very big one, obviously, but many cultural customs come with Easter.